Hi everybody, it's me, Sam from Sammy's Movies, and today I'm gonna do my top 10 worst films of 2015. "2015 is over, and that means I've got to do my top 10 worst films of the year. There were a lot of bad films this year, and keep in mind that I haven't seen all of them. Many I haven't seen because they were small films that I watched a review before and I didn't want to go see them after. But that doesn't mean I haven't seen some bad films, because I've seen a few, and I'm here to count down my top 10 worst films from the films I've seen in 2015. These movies were atrocious. They were some of the worst experience I've had all year in the cinema. Let's get started with number 10. Crimson Peak. What a disappointment that was. This was my biggest disappointment all year. I was very excited to see this film. It looked like a super cool ghost story film that came out during October time. It looked like a perfect Halloween movie, but it was such a disappointment to see because it was just a love story and really bad. Tom Hiddleston in the movie was really disappointing. I really didn't like that film. It was one of the biggest disappointment all year. Keep away from this film because it is not good. And let's get to number 9. Taken 3. Taken 3 was a film I saw early on this year, and I really didn't have high hopes for this film because it was the sequel to Taken 2, which is one of the worst films I've seen. It's one of the worst action movies. Taken 2 is really bad, and Taken 3 doesn't make exception. This film is horrible. Compared to Taken 2, it's a little better. It's still an atrocious action film. This film is so badly directed. It's just such a mess of a film. And why did it make so much money? I hope the poster for this film is the truth and that it will end here for the Taken franchise. Let's get to number 8. Danny Collins. This film stars Al Pacino, one of the best actors of all time. And what was he doing in this film in order to get money? This was a super bad film. Everything about this film flopped. I didn't like this film. I couldn't even finish the film, it was so bad, because this film, really keep out from it. I think you should do less films and not those crappy films, because this was crap. Number 7. The 33. So The 33 is a small film that somehow got released in theaters. It should have never been released in cinema. It should have just been a crappy TV movie. But it was released in theater and no one saw it, and it was terrible. This movie is so boring. I almost fell asleep during this film. And it's sad because they tried hard to make a good film. The actors looked like they tried, but this film was so boring. It was just excruciatingly painful to watch. One of the hardest films of 2015 to watch. Coming in at number 6. Pixels, the new Adam Sandler, Kevin James movie. Adam Sandler's been making really shit movies lately, and Pixels is one of them. It's also a sad thing because Pixels is a great story. I would have liked to love this film because it's about retro video games, and I really like that, and it's got a cool concept. Plus it's directed by Chris Columbus. But this movie was such a mess. All the jokes didn't hit in Pixels, and it was just a big mess of a film. It didn't do well, and I'm glad it did because this movie is certainly not worth your time, and it's one of the best films of the year. At number 5, The Gunman. It stars Sean Penn, and it's supposed to be an action movie, but all he does in this film is like take a sniper and shoot. But that's the only thing. It's like 5 minutes of action in the whole runtime of this film. This film was also very boring, and it was supposed to be an action movie. Everything about this film failed. It was supposed to be a fun action movie, but instead it was a drama movie starring Sean Penn. At number 4. Pan. It's also a film I should have liked. It's a great story, the story of Peter Pan, but it stars Hugh Jackman. What went wrong? This thing was horrible. Right from the beginning when they started singing Nirvana, I knew something wasn't right. And this movie just went on as a horrible, filled with CGI movie that shouldn't even be recognized as part of the Peter Pan world. This movie was horrible. Don't see it. I never want to see this thing again. At number 3. Ted 2. This was one of the worst comedies I've seen all year. I had a hard time finishing this film in the cinema. It was so bad. And no wonder, because it was the sequel to Ted, the horrible film from 2012. The Talking Teddy Bear, yeah. And then we had Ted 2, which was even worse. The only good thing from this film was a thing they ripped off from a great film called Planes, Trains and Automobiles. And that's it. This film is atrocious to say the least. We're getting to really stinky ones here. So at number 2, we have Hitman Agent 47. It was so bad. And plus it's from a great video game. Just stop making video game movies because they all suck, and this one was so bad. Such an horrible action film. I want to erase this film from my mind, and I hope you'll never see this film in your life. So now, we're getting to the number 1 worst film of 2015. Fantastic Four, also known as Fantastic. What was this thing? This thing was supposed to be great. It starred great actors, it had a big budget, it was a big superhero film, but no, this thing was horrible. It was another Batman and Robin, except that Batman and Robin is laughably bad. This movie is just bad. This is another horrible superhero film. This is like a film that was made in 2003. I thought we were never going to see one of these again, because we're in an era where we have films like The Dark Knight. In 2015, we get a movie like Fantastic Four, one of the worst superhero films of all time, no doubt. I was super excited to see this, but this let me down on every level. On the same level as Superman 4: The Quest for Peace. That's how bad it is. Fantastic is my worst film of 2015.
Poop again!
He called the shit poop!
This is the best night of my life. I'll get you damn kids for this! You're all gonna die!
So I hope you enjoyed it. This was my top 10 worst films of the year. Things will get better with my top 10 best films of the year. I'm really excited to bring you my list. It was a tough list to make, and that's gonna be my next video. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and expect to see more.